All right. So, everyone's heard about drones, right? But what we're going to talk about today is how they're totally changing the game when it comes to like construction safety. We're talking like way beyond just getting those cool aerial shots. Like, this is about using drones as like these high-tech safety guardians on construction sites.
Yeah, it's really impressive how this technology is actually reshaping an industry that, let's face it, has always been pretty risky, right? We're
Yeah.
not just talking about like reducing danger here, but actually getting ahead of it, like predicting and preventing problems before they even happen.
Okay, so help me understand this. Like, we've all seen those traditional site inspections, right? Someone walking around with their clipboard hoping they catch everything. How are drones like changing that whole picture?
Well, think of it this way. It's kind of like switching from, that street view on Google Maps to like a full-on satellite view in like a second. Drones give you this really comprehensive view of the entire construction site, right?
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that they can reveal potential hazards that honestly you'd probably miss completely from the ground.
So you're talking about like spotting those hidden dangers like before they blow up into a major issue, right?
Exactly. And we're not just talking about a simple bird's eye view here. I mean,
Hmm.
these drones, they're coming loaded with like high resolution cameras. They can capture super sharp images. And the cool thing is inspectors can actually zoom in on those images, right?
Yeah.
And they can spot tiny details, like, those little cracks in the concrete, the kinds of things that honestly you need a microscope to see from ground level. We're talking early detection here, catching it when it's still easy to fix.
Okay, that's really wild. I mean, I'm imagining like the impact on inspecting scaffolding or like the sides of buildings. It's not like, you have to dangle someone from a rope anymore just to like check if something is about to fall apart.
Exactly. It's all about like using tech to make those traditionally dangerous jobs, well, less dangerous. And it goes way beyond just visual inspections too. Think thermal imaging. That's another really powerful tool. Drones can use it to detect things like heat leaks, hidden water damage, even electrical hotspots that could, indicate a potential fire hazard. These are things that honestly could easily be missed, even with a trained eye, just doing a regular walkthrough.
So it's not even just about like speed and efficiency, but like accessing a completely different level of detail. Like you couldn't get this before.
Right. And the best part, this tech is just getting smarter. Like we're seeing these crazy advanced sensors. The cameras are higher resolution every year. And we're even starting to see AI and machine learning being used to analyze all this data. It's really incredible.
Okay, now that's where like this whole thing gets really interesting to me. Like AI on a construction site, that sounds kind of sci-fi, but like what can it actually do? I mean, in real life.
Okay, imagine this, right? A drone it's flying over the construction site, right? And it's capturing everything in real time, and all that footage, it's being analyzed instantly by an AI. Now, this AI, it's been trained on like tons of data, right? So that knows how to recognize dangerous situations. This isn't just about hard hats, right? We're
Yeah.
talking about the AI spotting if someone's too close to like a big piece of machinery, if they wander into a restricted zone, even like if their body language suggests they're exhausted, which, let's face it, could lead to a really bad mistake.
So it's like having like a super vigilant safety supervisor who never sleeps, constantly watching everything and what alerting a human if like someone needs to step in.
Exactly. We're talking about moving away from reacting to accidents and moving toward like anticipating them,
Yeah.
catching those risks before they turn into, something much worse.
It's really like it's amazing to think how much safer this could make things, right? Like not just for the workers, but I mean the whole project runs smoother if you're not dealing with accidents. But we were talking about inspections and I know that's another area where drones are like totally shaking things up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've been talking about drones as like an extra set of eyes, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, they could do so much more than that. I mean, think about it.
Hmm.
Instead of sending an inspector into a potentially, dangerous spot, you send a drone. Roofs, bridges, even those like tight spaces inside a structure, a drone can get in there without putting anyone at risk.
So instead of like some poor inspector dangling on a rope to check under a bridge, you have a drone doing a quick flyby.
Yeah, exactly. And the really cool part is that these drones, they're not just sending back like a basic video. Remember we were talking about high-res cameras, thermal imaging. They're gathering crazy amounts of data. So you can actually build a full 3D model of the structure.
Wait, 3D models? That sounds, I don't know, kind of futuristic, like something out of a movie.
It might sound like sci-fi, but it's real. Like these drones can fly a specific route, you program it in, and as they're flying, they capture these overlapping images. Then you get the software involved and like it stitches those images together to create the 3D model. And it's not just like a visual thing, right? The models include tons of data, thermal readings, precise measurements. They can even spot if there are like tiny shifts in the structure.
So an inspector could like do a full inspection of a skyscraper right there from the office, zooming around a 3D model, checking the thermal readings, all without, leaving their desk.
Exactly. They can view the model from every angle, analyze all that data, and really pinpoint potential issues with a level of detail that honestly we could only dream of before. So it's not just about safety, it's about making smarter decisions throughout the entire construction process.
Okay, that's incredible. I mean, something like this would be like essential for those huge projects, right? Like bridges, tunnels, that kind of thing.
You got it. Imagine trying to inspect a suspension bridge, right? It takes forever, it's expensive, and it's inherently risky. Drones change the whole game. You collect all the data quickly, safely, and engineers can actually monitor the bridge's condition over time, spot those little problems before they turn into major headaches, and plan maintenance way more effectively.
It's like giving these massive structures like regular health checkups.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even just about safety and keeping things from falling apart. This tech can make the whole construction process smoother. Imagine using the 3D models to track progress, see if the actual building matches the plans, and keep the whole project on time and on budget.
This is like mind-blowing. We're not just tweaking things here. We're talking about a total revolution in how these projects are managed. From like the first drawings to the final inspection.
I know, right? It's incredible how technology is shaking up this entire industry, making it safer, more efficient, and honestly more innovative. And the really exciting part is that we're still in the early stages.
So like it's amazing to think about, right? This tech, it's not just about like fancy 3D models of buildings. It's about like what else can we do with this? What other industries could use this kind of aerial inspection and data analysis?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. And I think honestly, the possibilities are pretty much endless at this point. I mean, think about it, right? Any industry that involves these big, large-scale operations, especially in environments that are, well, kind of hazardous, right?
Yeah.
Or even just the need for those regular, super detailed inspections. Mining, that's got to be one of the first ones that comes to mind.
Makes sense. I mean, mining, it's often in these really remote, like difficult locations, not exactly easy or safe to get inspectors into some of their spots.
Exactly. And that's where drones can really shine. You equip them with those high-res cameras, LiDAR sensors, even like gas detectors, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly you've got a much safer way and a way more efficient way to inspect mines. You can monitor for things like gas leaks or, maybe there's some structural instability. Heck, you can even map out those underground tunnels with like incredible accuracy.
So you're talking about like giving these mining companies a live three-dimensional view of their entire operation, like not just what's happening above ground, but below
Yeah,
too.
exactly. And then there's, well, the oil and gas industry, another sector where things can get, a little dicey. Obviously, they're already using drones for things like pipeline inspections. But imagine like sending them out to those offshore oil rigs. You can check for leaks, monitor for potential problems,
Yeah.
even use them to help out in those like emergency situations.
Right. And that's where, I mean, you're talking about potentially saving lives, right? In those like really high stakes situations. Like, let's say there's a fire on an oil rig. You need to get a handle on what's happening fast. Drones could get you that info without having to risk sending someone directly into danger.
Absolutely. And, the exciting thing is we're not just stuck with what we have now. As the technology keeps getting better, we'll have even more, like specialized sensors, new ways to use them. I mean, imagine a drone with a hyperspectral camera, right? That could detect even the tiniest traces of pollutants.
Yeah.
That would be huge for monitoring the environmental impact of these industries.
So, like, we're talking about a complete transformation here, like a whole new era of safety and efficiency. And it's all thanks to these advancements in drone tech.
Exactly. And I think it's important to remember, this isn't about replacing the human workers, right? This is about giving them better tools so they can do their jobs more effectively, more safely. It's about using this technology to make things better, safer for everyone.
It's really like it's inspiring to think about the potential here. So for our listeners, hopefully you're as like blown away by all this as we are. But like if there's one thing to take away from this whole conversation, what would it be? What should people be thinking about as they, finish this deep dive?
Well, I think the key takeaway here, honestly, is that it's not really about the drones themselves. It's about recognizing how powerful technology can be when it's used to solve, these really complex problems, and especially in fields like construction, mining, energy, right? where safety is absolutely paramount, this tech has the potential to really make a difference.
And it's a good reminder that, like, innovation, it's not about, like, building the coolest gadget, right? It's about using those gadgets, those breakthroughs, to actually make the world a better place, a safer place.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us. And for our listeners, keep those questions coming. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep exploring.